Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
Activated.
Welcome back to another episode here on the Boxing Biz Podcast show. Boomer. Welcome back, guys. It's been a lot of stuff going on, as usual, in the boxing world. And one of those topics that I wanted to touch on was that comeback, right? The comeback from Mr. Jermell Charlo, the Lion, the one and only 154-pound champy who, decided to take on Canelo Alvarez. And, of course, had to give up those titles, right, in order to get that payday. And now he's just posted some AI-generated images. We just never know if fighters are being super serious or they're just, putting it out there as maybe, something to hook in the public back into the attention. My man Charlo's been away for, 2 years now? I think last fight was in September of 23. So it is been a little bit of a layoff. 2 years is, in this game is something that's always looked down upon, right? Inactivity is one of the no-nos in the sport. But Jermell's 35 years old. 35 years old, right? And he didn't lose his 154-pound titles. So, a comeback after a 2-year layoff. And it seems as though, these layoffs don't have to be, total let go of your, discipline and get fat and drink all you want. It doesn't have to be that, right? When you're off for 2 years, it could be a calculated layoff. Some fighters really benefit from, the layoffs, depending on whether or not they stay active, right? Outside of the ring, riding bike, playing ball, just staying physically active, not, polluting your body too much. And also, there's a lot of mental fatigue that's picked up in the sport of boxing that, it's always left out and not talked about enough. There is mental fatigue in this sport, and sometimes you just need a break. So Jermell Charlo has gotten, a 2-year break. And now he throws out these images with, him as the lion with a fish in his mouth. And it ain't just any fish. It's the shark, right? Spence Jr. No friends in this industry, he says. So, okay, no friends in this industry, man. There's a lot of, messages that he's trying to send across, making sure that the public understands that he's coming back, and he's coming back and wants to come back to a big fight. When you're talking about Spence Jr., Ennis, and Sebastian Fundora, you're talking about, the top guys right now, and, to come back to a championship fight. How does that look, And, I'll start it up with by saying that I appreciate everybody that's tapping into the all the platforms that we stream on. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and IG. So make sure you hit that like button, heart, repost, X that up, share the program, and continue helping us grow this community. It's been great so far, you guys. In the last couple of months, we've been doing great. So, again, just want to say thank you. And let's keep it rolling, right? So the poll question is, who should Jermell Charlo fight in his comeback? And, of course, the show is about that, those options that were put out there by those AI-generated images that, he posted on the IG. And, I'll just bring it up for those that are watching visual so you guys could take a look at what exactly I'm talking about, obviously, if you haven't seen these images already. Which, this spread like wildfire in the boxing community. I'm just tapping into it today, right? Right. So, There you go. All right, if you guys could see my screen, then there we go. All right. And these are the images, right? Jermell Charlo is on the hunt. Your man's is on the hunt. You got the shark there. It's dope, man, what you can do with AI now, and get these AI generated images, which are pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and I think, and we all know that this one's my man Sebastian Fundora. Obviously, you know what? I'll make it a little bigger. I should make it a little bigger for you guys, right? Let's see. Just put the whole thing up there. Get myself out of there. So you got Sebastian Fundora hemmed up by the neck piece, right? Yo, and not for nothing, man. People be saying, people say that, giraffes, the giraffes are prey, bro. But there's some giraffes, bro, that they will beat the heck out of a lion with their neck. I mean, you can see this on Nat Geo. There you go. And then you got the boot from Philly. I guess he should have just had an eagle, but he got the boot from Philly, and we all know that's Jermell Ennis. And this, as fun as these images might be, and the talks of likely coming back to a fight like this, coming back to a fight like this after a 2-year layoff is a bad idea. This is not the best idea here, champs. You got a shark, a giraffe, or an eagle, right? You should have just had the eagle up there instead of a boot with an eagle on it, but who am I? Just to keep the theme, right, going with the whole animal alpha predator sort of thing he got going. So can Charlo win a comeback fight against Spence, Fundora, or Ennis? After a 2-year layoff, can he come back to this type of fight? And now there's, somebody was covering it on one of these, boxing news reported that possible fight with the guy's name is Boris. I just have to see, because I do probably killing that name right now. But yeah, there was talks of him probably fighting the new interim champ that Ennis lost to. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, because we all know Ennis has lost that decision. Crazy how he lost that one too, man. It was, sometimes, man, all it takes is grit to carry you through the fight, man. And Ennis is definitely, they took him they took him through the fire in that fight. Where the heck am I here? Let me just turn back. And I think he was, there it goes, Abbas Baru. Jeez, I would have never got that one, huh? Abbas Baru. Well, you guys know now. All right. Ennis lost to Abbas Baru in that matchup recently on the MVP promotion card, and they were just reporting. They threw it out there. I don't know exactly where it came from, but they were saying there may be a possible fight for Jermell Charlo to head up against Abbas, right? And see if maybe he can catch that interim that is Jermell Charlo, catch that interim, and then be in a position where, he can fight for the actual title, and then, he could either go that route or go straight into a fight, depending on where they have him in the politics of the sports, right? But if he fights the interim champ and then goes into a champ, it's sort of like he's taking a tune-up, but not really. But he's taking a tune-up because we can all agree that Abbas is, not on the same exact level as a Fundora, Ennis, or Earl. Even though Earl's always got that question mark, man, after the accident, he too has been on a long layoff. And, with him and everything he had going on and the accident, maybe a layoff is what he needed just to get, some of those bearings back. That accident was bad. It was really, really bad. That accident, man, was it was definitely a serious accident. So, and then he came back, fought, I think, too quick in my opinion. But hey, don't want to take away from anything that Earl Dean tried to do. That Terrence Crawford fight would have been good though, man. Without no accident, it would have just been a better dub with no question marks over it for Terrence. But I mean, people are always gonna talk and say something. So if you're paying attention, or if you're paying attention to the chat, or if you're on the YouTube chat, that is, tap into the poll. Who should Jermell Charlo fight in his comeback? I definitely would like to see him. If I would like to see him in a tune-up first before coming back. If that tune-up can be a Bass, then okay. Pretty sure there's other potential matchups that we can have. Jermell in there, but we're talking about a 35-year-old Jermell Charlo. 35 years old. Just Father Time is always kicking ass out there. Father Time is always kicking ass. So it's to put him in there with anybody super dangerous. It's like look what just happened to Dillian White, and he went in there with Itama, and it just it can make you look real bad trying to come into a comeback fight with somebody that is as dangerous as Ennis or these guys that are being mentioned. I mean, Earl Spence Jr., if he's seeing him, I don't want to say Earl's low-hanging fruit, but, Earl Spence Jr. from those three guys would probably be the guy that I would choose, coming back to that type of fight. And plus, these guys know each other, so he knows what type of fight Errol's bringing. So, it's just a safer fight, in my opinion. And still a great fight. Safer fight in the sense that there's some things that Jermell knows about the fighter that he's going to be fighting. There's no air of mystery in what he's bringing. More so because of course they've been stablemates. But you get an interim with Virgil Ortiz. And I don't know. They said that they had an ox with like a tooth going through it. I didn't find that image for Virgil. I only found these three. I don't know if they took that one out. I guess they did. I guess they didn't want to challenge Virg. But they took that one out. So you have the interim on the WBC side with Virg, right? And you have Terrence Crawford and the Bass. Yeah, Bass Baru in the interim right there on the WBA. So Sebastian and Virgil got that going on. Ennis, Xander Zayas, Josh Kelly. Well, Josh Kelly got some things that he has to handle pretty soon. You got Sergey Boychek. There's killers in this division, bro. Erickson Lubin. Damn. How about a comeback fight with Erickson Lubin? That'd be official. Man. Comeback fight with Erickson Lubin. But Erickson Lubin got Erickson Lubin got Virgil Ortiz problems right now. So that, all right. So Virgil Ortiz is busy. So of course he ain't. Jermell ain't going that route. So that Bass Baru is probably it right there. They can get that going for him. And man, what a fight that would be. Whew. Erickson Lubin goes in there, manages to get through Virgin. My bad, Virgil Ortiz. If he gets through Virgil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin puts himself in position there as a WBC champ. Oh, man. Sebastian Fundora and Virgil Ortiz Jr. interim. Yeah, he would be in their position with Sebastian also. So that fight, man, Erickson Lubin has, in this fight with Virgil Ortiz, he has so much to gain. It's crazy, man. He has a lot to gain right here. He jumps in there. He beats Virg, gets that interim. Man, he got Sebastian. things are gonna open up for him, man. You know, may the best man win, man. Erickson Lubins, he's caught the hard route too, man. Absolutely. But yeah, Jermell Charlo challenging, or hinting at challenging at least, Earl Spence, Fundora, Sebastian Fundora, and Jermell Ennis. I don't know. Maybe a tune-up fight's the way to go, right? And the Q&A is opened. Does a 2-year layoff erase Jermell's edge? You know, lack of activity, big deal. Or can his championship pedigree carry him back? Can it carry? How many fights is it going to take to carry him back? That's the whole story, you know. You gotta, you gotta. He didn't go out. It's not like he lost at 154, guys. You know what I'm saying? He went and took the ticket, right? Took the payday ticket, the Canelo ticket, the Willy Wonka ticket. Tune-up fight doesn't sound too bad, but that division is that division is wide open, man. Any of those guys at that top can do some damage. Any of these guys. I mean, the more I look at the top 5 is like, damn. You got Kellen Walsh. It's going up against Vargas now. It's Conor Benn. It's Kalen Walsh. Who's this guy? Number 3, Pavel Susulin. Don't know who Pavel Susulin is, but Russian fighter. 12 bouts, 12 wins, 6 KOs. Okay. This is a name that snuck in there. I haven't seen this guy. I'm going to have to pay attention to Pavel Susulin. And you got Jesus Ramos Jr., Erickson Lubin. Yeah, man. It's pretty stacked right there. So, jumping straight into the fire is probably the best thing for Jermell Charlo. Even though, like I said, there's a possibility there that he could just jump the line there with Abbas Baru. And I would love to see that. I would love to see, him come back into the division where he left off, because he didn't lose these titles, man. He needs to be at that top. So I'm not even going to hate on Jermell Charlo coming in like that. You know what I mean? Why not? Come back right in there. And Abbas Baru, I'm sorry, but Abbas Baru is not getting the best of Jermell Charlo. Great way in. Let's see. There we go. All right. And to be honest, we don't even know where do we rank him right now. If we were to rank him coming back with these guys, I don't know exactly. Every sanctioning body has his own different, metric. And of course, anything can happen within these governing bodies. Obviously, we already know this. Guys can jump the line. But what's the best path to the top? It's got to have that immediate fight, man. That's going to be it. It's the immediate fight right back into the fire. You cannot not go back right into it. If you're going to fight any of these guys in the top 10, it's not in the top 5. And the top 5 is looking so dangerous, you're going to have to just go. Just going to have to jump in there. Jermell Charlo is going to have to jump in there with one of the top guys. And Abbas, that's that's going to be a gift right there if he's able to get that fight with Abbas. Pretty sure Abbas wouldn't even, to fight Terrence. Oh, just so many things going on too. Terrence with Canelo, we don't know what he does after that. If he loses or wins. So a lot of things that are on the edge of the cliff, waiting for this fight to come about too, man. Shout out to everybody too, man, that's tapping in with us on that date. Gonna be doing that fight night watch along. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. Can't get any closer, right? Literally like about 2 weeks, maybe 15 days away from the fight. It's coming sooner. Sooner than later. All right. Okay. Yeah, man, and Jermell Charlo, it's pretty much, and let me just make sure this is true. So many things are popping up right now with what's going on with Jermell. That a Bass fight just might happen. Got another news reporting website saying the same thing. I didn't want to say for sure, but guess that's something that's really opening up for Jermell Charlo, which is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, applaud that. All right, so again, this is just me coming in, just trying to cover this real quick. It was a quick topic too, Didn't want to stay on it too long. As like I said, man, this guy's been out of the ring for so long. It's not really much we can say more than, hopefully he gets that fight with a boss, put himself right back in the mix of things, and he can handle business. It's a hard fight, man, with any of these guys, man. Any of these guys at the 154-pound division. Some hard fights. I don't know if he's able. The only guy that I see him beating right now, man, is a Boss Baru, bro. Sanders Eyes is on fire. Virgil Sebastian, fire. Bakram, nobody wants to fight Bakram. Bakram's too dangerous. So, hopefully we get more news coming in, right, from Charlo and what he's going to be doing or coming back and what fight. But obviously he's got us listening. He's got us, excited. A fight with any of these guys coming back would be good. We took a look at the top 5 right now. Very dangerous. Erickson Lubin. He's busy with Virgil, Sergey Boacek, Josh Kelly, Jerron Ennis. It's just, it's dangerous at that top 5. Looks like my man Jermell's going to have to see if he can snipe that Abbas Baru fight and put himself right back in there. Because these ladders are really tough to climb in the top 5 for any of these sanctioning bodies. All these guys that are ranked on the top 5 are they're all killers up here. All tough fights. And after a 2-year layoff, dangerous for my boy Jermell. But the Lion is out there roaring. He's on the prowl. Let's see what we get from Jermell Charlo in the next couple of weeks as more and more stuff starts to open up and develop with more of talks of who he might come back with. Great to see him back in the ring. Be awesome to see him back in the ring and, finish. If he can finish as a champ, man, he could get a bunch of more fights. I don't know how you feel at 35. I don't know how much punishment. Jermell's, I don't think Jermell's ever took punishment. The Jermell brothers, well, at least for Jermell, I don't think he's ever took any real punishment. He lost that fight to Tony Harrison, and it was, that was probably the toughest fight I've seen him in. And I don't think I've ever seen Jermell take too much damage. Jermell Charlo's, he's always been a good boxer, puncher, but just, a hard puncher. He's the one that, and Jermell was knocking out guys too. What am I talking about? Jermell's just always had that attitude that he a little meaner, out of the two brothers, he's just a little meaner. And, that transitions into the ring. Definitely transitions when you're in the ring. You got to be mean, man. You got to be willing to, decimate your opponent, like my man Mike be saying. You got to be in there ready, bro. Let's see. I think we had some more questions here. Let me get that up. There we go. I think that was the last question, matter of fact. And which fight is more dangerous? Somebody just messaged me. Which fight is more dangerous? To me, of course, Jerron Ennis would be the most dangerous fight. Nobody wants to fight that guy. That'd be the most dangerous fight. Fundora's height always gives anybody problems. That's a tough fight too, but I think skill for skill, Jermell Ennis probably out of those 3 AI generated pictures, man. Jermell Ennis is the one that you really have to watch out for. I don't think that's his top pick to come back. For sure. That's not his top pick. But that Abbas Baru, looking real good right now to come back to that fight. So you go, Jermell Charlo announces that he is on a prowl, on a comeback. And this was, a short topic, just covering some of the things that Jermell has said. And of course, and hinted at with some potential fights with these top guys, whether it be Spence Jr., whether it be Jermell Ennis, Sebastian Fundora, or Abbas Baru. Excited to see Jermell Charlo come back. Can he come back and, on beat and, be able to compete, at the high levels like he always has? We're going to see. And again, guys, this is a short topic. We're going to keep it like that. I'm going to come back. We're going to be speaking on Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. I'm going to try to keep these episodes separate so I don't confuse you guys. And, I think that was about it with Jermell Charlo and Sebastian Fundora and Spence and Jermell Ennis. Whichever of these guys he decides to come back would be an amazing fight. I don't think that's the route. It's not the safe route, especially after a 2-year layoff. I think we might just see that Abbas Baru fight happen. Good way to put him back in there. Deserving, of course. He didn't lose his titles. And why not come back to where you left off? You didn't lose the titles, so, I don't get, some people are, talking already. Oh, how does he come back? Well, he comes back because he didn't lose his titles. Comes back because, he dared to be great. In a 2-year layoff, he even said it. Jermell said it. The 2-year layoff was not voluntary. This is something that, was, I guess, planned out with the team, right? It's a plan that was needed. Sometimes you need that vacation. That's what I keep telling y'all, man. Sometimes the mental fatigue is a lot. It's not even the body. It's the mental fatigue. 2-year layoff. You could be doing a lot of good on the layoff. So hopefully that's the case with Jermell Charlo. Even though coming back and fighting Spence is crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy fight. Because that's like the inside stable. That's my man's. And we're going to have to fight for this money. That's how too, man. And it's like, it's the career, not the career end, but a lot of these guys that we were looking at are on their way out, They're on their way out, and the fighters before them are on their prime. Like Terrence, right? Terrence, he could fight more if he wanted to, but he's on his way out. Guys like Shakur are coming into their prime, right? Like, and this is how Jermell Charlo, is also on his way out. A couple of more fights, a few more fights, and I'm out of here. So, a big fight is what you got to come back to. I'm just saying, Spence Jr., I'm pretty sure the fight happens a lot easier because they know each other. So politics, aside and all that, they can probably agree real quick to make a fight happen. And that would be a fight that I would definitely tune into. That's a fight that you're gonna have to, you gotta realize these guys know each other, bro. That fight's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be like two best friends in the backyard going hard at the body and shit. Only this is going to be to the face, too. They're going to go hard to the face piece. Shout out RP, says Spence would be his good comeback also. A farewell for Spence. Yeah, now that you put it that way, you're right, because, Spence also has to come back. Yo, freaking Spence, man. I'm telling you, bro, that accident took more of a toll than what people like to talk. You know, that's why that layoff right now for Spence is good. That layoff right now, I mean, we got to see how he comes back, right? I mean, a fight with Jermell Charlo is a dangerous fight, but if he comes back and he handles business the way we've seen him handle business, we might just be like, oh, Earl Spence is back. You know how we get happy as hell. And how old is Spence too? I think he's what? Yeah, I forgot how old Spence is. But he hasn't fought in a minute. So he has his also 2-year layoff. Great comeback for both these guys. That would be damn. We could even say the comeback fight. Who comes back stronger, the lion or the shark? I'll sell the shit out of this shit. Right, RP? Yeah, that would be you could start to think about it more and more. You could sell the hell out of this fight. Spence needs a payday, then a walk. RP said, yep. Yeah, that would be a crazy, crazy fight right there. Now that you see, you got to sell it to me. Because, the whole I ain't going to fight my friend. You've seen this happen. I mean, you see how these guys like, nah, I'm not going to fight that guy. Is Jermell really serious about fighting him, or he's just using his name for clout, just to... Because, these AI-generated images, they caught everybody's attention. Like, oh, look, a lion with a shark in his mouth. Oh, look, a giraffe, a boot. Shit catches attention, but how serious are you, How serious are you to get back in there with some of these guys? We're going to see. That Errol Spence Jr. RP, man, you might be right, man. That might be the one that's probably the other two were decoys and shit, and that's the one that's going to happen. That's the one that can happen. Shit, that one starts to... Yeah, I mean, Fundora, like I said, Fundora got his own problems over there with Virgil and Erickson. How that's going to go, who knows? This shit's confusing sometimes, these interim titles. Like, if I got a main title, but the guy got the interim title, like, what is it? Like, how does that even work? Like, how is it get an interim? Just don't understand. I need somebody to totally 100% break this down. Be sitting there trying to figure shit out. It's like I'm doing fucking math. Like Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz Jr. both holding the interim, right? That's what it's called. The fucking interim. Let's see. So, is Virgil Ortiz an interim champ, or is Fundora holding the interim? It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be doing a bunch of math just trying to figure this out. But yeah, Earl Spence Jr. probably the best bet. Probably one that's most likely to happen, or the one that's more clear to happen. So RP shit. Put that in my put that seed in there. You might just get that fight. That might just be the one to grow into the one that needs to be, bro. That Earl Spence comeback fight between these two guys. You could sell the hell out of it. Yo, it's crazy though. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Shakur trying to fight Keyshawn. You don't see some of these guys trying to fight each other. Who was Big Baby Miller and what was the other guy? The Polish guy? Granaki. I don't think those guys two would ever fight each other. It was just some guys that won't fight each other. Is this a good move? Is that the move to make? Because these guys, Earl and Jermell Charlo fighting, they cancel each other out, bro. These guys would straight cancel each other out, champ. That's somebody's got to go. that's basically how this goes. Somebody just got to go. And if you're tuning in, we're talking Jermell Charlo comeback, where his AI generated pictures and shit had a shark in its mouth, had a boot with an eagle on it. I don't know why he didn't just have the eagle. I don't know why the boot had to come into play, but fuck it, it's Philly. Put your Timbs on. And the giraffe. So, and again, this is a breaking news kind of thing, right? We don't got too much information on it. I mean, we got people talking about Abbas Baru, who just won that decision over Ennis. Tell us that's probably going to be the best route to do, to do what he needs to do to get back in there into some big fights. My man RP says Fundora is too much for him and Boots is too slick. Well, let's get into some of that shit because, if you really think about it, Sebastian Fundora, he gets hit a lot, bro. He really does. He gets hit a lot. And the type of power that Jermell Charlo is holding. He's knocking guys out. So don't think that Sebastian Fundora is just going to go in there and start smashing them up. You talking about Fundora's too much for him. I'm going to put you up there, too, for the world to see. That's RP saying that Fundora's too much for him and Boots is too slick. I mean, who has Jermell Charlo encountered as a slick fighter? Because, again, we like to throw these guys. We forget, bro. We forget who these guys fought. Who's been slick? Tony Harrison was slick. You know what I'm saying? Tony Harrison was pretty slick. Who else? Charles Hatley? Nah. Vanes Matarosa, he was more of a tough guy, He was tough. Gabriel Rosado wasn't the same as he is now, I guess. Demetrius Hopkins? Damn, that's probably the slickest guy that Jermell's faced, bro. So maybe be some problem. Tony, I'd say Tony Harrison's probably the slickest guy. Tony Harrison, but again, I don't see Jermell having too much trouble. I don't see him having too much trouble. I'm just saying that because of the age, obviously, and the inactivity, some of those things are going to really matter, coming back to a guy like that. There's just levels, right? That guy's at the top right now. Fundora, he's at the top too, but, he just gets hit, man. He gets hit. I think he should practice on not getting hit so much, man. And he shouldn't be getting hit either. He's so tall. He has the reach. He shouldn't be getting hit. Sometimes he just, I guess, lets go and says, fuck it, I'm going to fight. And he starts freaking going in there, really putting in some work, but he gets hit. A guy like Jermell Charlo could hurt him. And even though Virgil Ortiz is going to be busy, bro, Virgil Ortiz is that fight right there, where any fight where Virgil is a freaking good fight. But stylistically, that'd be a great fight, and a hard fight, super hard fight. It's just not the way to go, bro. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not trying to stay too long on this one, man. Because, the AI images caught us, but, how real are these fights? And then RP now kind of putting that in my head, okay, maybe the Earl Spence, both been away for 2 years. They do a comeback fight. Yeah, we're in there, right? I like that. You can sell it. I think that promotions are the same or work together. What I think they are. Yeah, they're from the same stable. So these guys can make it happen for sure. And because of the same, I guess the same era, when you're talking about Spence and Jermell, that's the same era, same timeline. There's not really too much of a disadvantage for both of those fighters in the sense of time. Father Time is not, Father Time doesn't dictate this fight. It's going to be just straight up on skills and what's left between these two. stylistically now, you know, Earl Spence Jr. brings the heat, right? You could say that Earl Spence Jr. is like, he's like, I guess you could compare him, right, to styles like a Canelo, right? He's like a Mexican style kind of guy, Earl Spence. Tell me no. Earl Spence is a Mexican style guy. You know what I'm saying? Come forward fighter, right? We like to call it the Mexican style, right? That's the come forward fighting. You know what I mean? And Earl Spence has that Mexican style, you know? That's what he does. He has that Canelo style. So we all saw with Jermell Charlo, he had trouble with Canelo, you know? Now, I'm not saying that Earl hits harder than Canelo, right? But Earl will be in there. He'll be coming in there with the same MO, trying to hit the body, trying to, you know, put that pressure. Earl's not going to be trying to fight on the back foot. So, you know, this would be stylistically, I guess, a nightmare for Jermell. Earl Spence Jr. gets in there, man, and he starts to do the Canelo moves. Your boy Jermell, we got to see how he feels too, man, coming back from that fight. You know, confidence sometimes goes out the window, bro. Some guys don't know how to take an L and come back. They get back in the ring, they get hit a little too hard and just forget about it. You know? So, yeah, Jermell Charlo in there with Earl Spence Jr., Mexican style. That Mexican style that he's bringing, even though it's basically American come forward style. But, yeah, we like to call it Mexican style. So, Earl's going to be bringing that type of fight, man. That's going to be tough for Jermell. You know, Jermell's just real sharp with his straight punches and really good on his feet. He stays light, in and out, very good in and out movement with Jermell. And again, shout out to everybody who tapped in, man. We're doing a quick one on Jermell Charlo, you know, coming back. Remember, there's hints right now of him possibly, you know, taking a route towards Abbas Baru, who recently just won that unanimous decision with Joannis Tellez. AI images speak on the shark, the giraffe, and the eagle. There's a bunch of animals out here. All right, and your boy, the lion, he's got his eyes set on them. But we'll see, man. We'll see what we get with this, and you know, as more news develops and breaks. We'll come back with another show too, man. We'll tap into Teofimo Lopez and Shakur, which is a big topic. We got, you know, the big fight, Terrence Crawford. And if you didn't check out the episode, man, check out the episode that we just did. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, the great deception, man. The size difference between Canelo and Terrence Crawford. I did an episode and breaking down some of the things that, you know, now I have to look at different. So catch that episode on the live playlist here on the Boxing Biz. And yeah, man, I don't think we could tap too much more on this. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep it clean and spread topics around. So we'll be back with another one pretty soon. What time is it right now? We'll be back at 3 o'clock. So, guys, stay tuned in. Appreciate you guys. We're out of here. This is the Boxing Biz Podcast show. This was a quick episode on Jermell Charlo comeback, right? Against Spence, Fundora, Ennis, possibly. And yeah. So make sure you stay tapped in. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share the program. Appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Cheers.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about. Have your fucking cloud, it be raining now. I keep making sound, go another round. Bitch, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.